Well, hello and welcome to another video in the series where we're focusing on the Quantum VWAP Pro indicator and the 5 variants that constitute the full package. And in this video, we're going to look at the last of those, which is called the Interday VWAP. And in a way, this is very different in many ways. First of all, because it's primarily focused, and the reason we developed it was to really focus on the investment aspect of stocks and ETFs from the longer term perspective. So in using the Interday VWAP, we are really looking at the dailies, the weeklies, and the monthlies. So very long-term perspective, getting a perspective from an investment point of view, where we are going to buy a stock, hold a stock. Is a stock we've held for some time coming to the end of its cycle? Is it turning lower? Is this the time to buy a stock and hold it for the longer term? So this is very much, we are in the world of investment here and longer term perspectives. And that's why we developed the Interday VWAP, for purely that aspect of investment, to take the chart and really analyze it from a VWAP, but one which goes out, as I say, on the dailies, weeklies, and monthlies. So that is one aspect of this particular variant which differs enormously. The second aspect, which differs greatly from the others, is that, as you will see in this video, we use something called anchors. Now, we've already come across anchors in one of the previous examples where we used the anchored VWAP to select our spots on the chart where we want to start our analysis from. The difference here is that the anchor is built into the back end, and we select the anchor of choice. It's rather like being on a boat. We on a sailing boat. And for example, where we have different types of anchors for different types of situations. So in a way, it's like that, I suppose. And I'll show you the suggested ways that we recommend using the anchors and which anchors to use for which particular time frames. Now, I'm going to do this on a single chart because we're only looking at 3 time frames here, and I think it's just easier from a clarity point of view. So let's discuss anchors. If we click on the chart, as always, we go to indicators, and we have, I'll just move this up a little bit. There we go. We have our 2 indicators. We have our volume, which is at the bottom of the chart, obviously, for our volume price analysis, and we have our VWAP Pro indicator here. If I click on it, over on the right-hand side, you can see that I have set this to the Interday VWAP at the top here, and this is the last of our variants. We've covered all 5 of them now in all the various videos. Down at the bottom here, you can see that we have, under the Interday VWAP banner, we have a period. And this is either monthly, weekly, or yearly. And this, in essence, is the period to which the anchor resets itself. The weekly is a little bit too tight for this sort of analysis. So the 2 that we're going to suggest and recommend are the monthly and the yearly. So that's where we set our anchor. And if I click that off, you can see up here, we are on a daily time frame here. We're on a stock with the ticker DD, which is DuPont. And if you look down at the bottom here in terms of the time frames, you will see here that as we go through every month, the indicator resets itself. So this is the start of a new month. We go to the next one, which is July. It resets again. We go, so I beg your pardon, that's June. We go to July. The indicator resets at the start of the month. And we are literally at the first of the month. This is the 1st of August, 2nd of August, we're just starting. So that was yesterday. So the indicator is now resetting. And the reason it is doing that is because if we go back into our settings, just to refresh your memory on that, there we go. Let's move that up again. We have the Interday VWAP setting. Our anchor has been set to reset on the month. Okay. And that is what we recommend for the daily time frame. So when you're on the daily chart, when you're analyzing your daily charts, we recommend using the monthly time frame as the anchor because it resets at the start of the month. We start afresh. It's a great way to think of your analysis anyway. Okay, we're in a new month. Where is this stock going in this particular month? It resets and starts recalculating. The indicator works in precisely the same way as it does in all the other videos that you've probably watched. We have the VWAP in the center, and we have our outer envelopes, the upper envelope and the lower envelope. And you'll see the way the price action follows those, where they're acting as support and resistance in the various trends. We're climbing here. We move down to the lower envelope here, and now we've taken off and we've got this sustained trend higher with the upper envelope supporting it there. And when it would move below here, we've got the pressure of the downwards VWAP pushing down onto the price action as it descends, and then we revert back to the upper level again. So the analysis of the indicator, whether we are using it as an intraday tool or whether we're using it as very much as an investment tool here, the analysis we use is precisely the same. You will see the same DNA of the indicator. You will see the price action move back to the VWAP itself in the center. You will see the price action moving to the outside envelopes all the time and oscillating over those two parameters and crossing the VWAP in due course. Other than that, it works, as I say, it works in precisely the same way. So this is on the daily time frame. So what do we do when we go to the weekly? So let's just click on the weekly. Now, what you see on the weekly is a very compressed profile here because this is the envelopes are once again resetting on the month, which isn't terribly helpful. So hence the reason that we introduced the yearly anchor. So what we do is we go back into our indicators, we go down to our VWAP, and down at the bottom here, we change this to the annual, our yearly. In other words, we apply that. And now we have a much more meaningful and informative perspective on our VWAP based on the year. And as you can see here, this was 2023. So we get a reset on the VWAP at the start of the year. So again, it's very much when we're trading, when we're investing, we often, I think, start at the beginning of the year and think, right, what am I going to? It's a bit like New Year's resolutions, I guess, when we think, okay, let's review our portfolio. I'm not suggesting you only review your portfolio annually, but it is a time when the markets are on holiday. We're all on holiday. We're enjoying the season's events, and the markets are not generally active, so we have time to consider. We're thinking about what we're going to be doing next year. We're looking at our portfolios. We're looking at our investments. We're thinking, well, what's the outlook for next year? Where are we in the economic cycle? Is it about, do we need to rebalance? Do we need to adjust our risk, etc.? So it's not a bad time. And in a way, this kind of ties into that in using the yearly, where we have a reset, and we're looking at everything through fresh eyes, and we get our stocks are revisited and recalculated based on the new settings. So that is how we recommend that you use the anchor, the two anchors, the monthly and the yearly. So we're on the yearly now here for the weekly time frame, and the same applies when we drop down onto the monthly. So if we drop down onto the monthly here for this stock, and as you can see, this explains very clearly, you can see the anchor reset. every year we go through our 12 months. Here we are, another reset into 21, into 22, and into 23 here. So we're roughly 2/3 of the way through 23. And the anchor is reset in that way. And then we just use the analysis in exactly the same way as we have done before with the VWAP and the outer envelopes. And of course, you can adjust them in the same way as you do on all the others. From the envelope can be one standard deviation, as is the default here, or you can change it to whatever you wish. So the takeaways from this are very much, we are in investment territory here. The indicator, the intraday indicator, was designed to be addressed across the dailies, the weeklies, and the monthlies. On the daily, we use the monthly anchor, and on the weeklies and the yearlies, on the weeklies and the monthlies, we use the yearly anchor. So on the dailies, we use the monthly, and on the weekly and the monthly time frame charts, we use the yearly anchor. So I hope that makes sense. Just to look at a couple of other examples, that was on DuPont. Let's have a look at GE across the time horizons. Let's go back up to the daily. See where we're going. Nice strong performance, and always remember, when you change back to a daily, you need to reset the anchor. Rather like sailing, you've gone from one destination, one port to another, or one anchorage to another. You need to reset the anchor. So we go into the indicators, we click on our VWAP, and we reset this back to the monthly. There we go. Click off that, and we are now back to our monthly anchor, and we have a very nice rally on GE, which has been climbing nicely, come off recently in the last, certainly in the earlier part here. We've got a 2-bar reversal going on, weakness here, and we've come back down to revisit the VWAP here. But generally speaking, let's move that out of the way. Generally speaking, a nice move on GE. And indeed, if you saw some of the earlier videos on GE was actually shaping up to a very nice breakout from an extended period of congestion on the slower time frames. So that's on the daily. If we then drop down onto and want to look at it on the weekly, remember now we need to change our VWAP across our anchor. We're going to reset our anchor, and we go to the annual. There we go, and just apply it. And now we've got a very, very clean looking chart. Really nice trend higher for GE, very solid. And you can see how wonderfully the outer envelope is supporting this rally for GE, which is a very, very positive move. And we go down onto the monthly, take a look at it from the monthly perspective. There we are, and we get a similar picture there as well. And that was following this extended, really, truly extended bearish phase of price action. We went into this very long congestion period, very typical congestion period on the longer time frames. And now we're starting to see the fruits of our patience paying off. If we sat through that, waiting for this break above this price point here, which I mentioned just now, and we're now seeing the stock climb nicely, supported by the VWAP. So that's GE. Let's have another look at a couple of others. Let's have a look at eBay, another interesting stock. We go back to the dailies, just getting you used to the routine. We go in here, we select our indicators, we go down to the VWAP, and we select our monthly. There we go, and we apply it, and now we have a nice looking informative chart for us to analyze as to where eBay is going. Let's have a look at the weekly for eBay. There we are, and now we have to change our anchor because we're on the weeklies and the monthlies. So we change our anchor over to the yearly. Click OK, there we are. And we're in quite a strong congestion phase for eBay at the moment, and have been for a little while. That's where we are. But in the downwards trend, you can see how the VWAP was declining steadily. We were oscillating around our outer envelope. We had a bit of a rally here, but now we're in pretty strong congestion. But it's in quite a tight range. So it's just a question of being patient and waiting for that market that stock to break, and of course that breakaway will be accompanied with volume, which will be the signal and the trigger once it does indeed move one way or the other. That's eBay. Let's just do one more. Let's go to Ford, for example. Have a quick look at Ford. We'll go back to the dailies for Ford. There we go. We reset our anchor. Down we go. We're on to the monthly again. Gives us a nice picture. There we go. We can see what's going on with Ford. Pretty bearish at the moment. Nicely declining VWAP, and the price action is just oscillating around, bouncing off the lower envelope, pushing the price lower all the time. That's on the daily. Let's have a look at the slower timeframes on the weekly. That's on the weekly, and of course we need to go and change our anchor here. So we'll go and change it to the annual. There we go, and apply it. And there we have our nice picture of what is going on in terms of Ford on the weekly, and we drop down onto the monthly. There we are. So that's the intraday VWAP. Very powerful indicator, but very much for you as an investor, for your longer term perspectives. And just make sure that whenever you're changing timeframes up and down, that you use the correct anchor for the chosen time frame. For the daily, we use the monthly, and for the weekly time frames and the monthly time frames, we use the annual. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular video. Lots more to come as always. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon, and bye for now.